Hey, did you hate The Last Jedi? Were you mad that Rey's last name isn't Skenobi Bridger or Ghana Akbar or Mara Jaden Smith? Or are you pissed that Rian Johnson cost you the winnings of your Who is Snoke office pool? I lost $15. I said it was Darth Bane. No matter how much Episode 8 makes you want to squanch up your face and hold your breath until you turn into a Force ghost or whatever happened to Luke Skywalker, I'm here with the silver lining. Could have been worse. And that's when we cut to the title, Screen Junkies News. Could have been worse. Look, guys, I personally really liked this movie, but for a lot of people, it was a great disturbance in the Force. It divided us, but I find that nothing draws people back together like the sad reality that there's always something crappier out there for us to hate together. And barbecue. Nothing brings people together like a good barbecue. And for that, we're going to delve deep into the Star Wars expanded universe. Now, the Lucasfilm Story Group already does that for their new movies. My favorite Nazi Smurf, Thrawn, showed up in Star Wars Rebels, and the Han Solo movie will be visiting Mimban, a planet from the very first Star Wars book in '78, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And while there's some cool stuff to mine out of these books, there's some things that really could have made the new trilogy even worse than you seem to think it is. So plenty of fans voiced their criticism of the heroic Luke Skywalker storyline being one of isolation, regret, and eventual redemption and inspiration. They wanted more Luke, and while I can't blame you for wanting more Master Skywalker, I will really miss the chemistry he had with Daisy Ridley's Rey. Be careful what you wish for, because more Luke could have easily been more Sook. That doesn't play. That's a Gilmore Girls character. We'll just cut all that in post. We'll just cut it in post. For instance, we all know the rumor that the original opening shot of Force Awakens was going to be Luke's hand floating around in space after being lopped off in Cloud City, which means there was a chance that Rian Johnson could have revisited that thread by having the First Order find that hand and use it to create a clone of Luke Skywalker, an evil clone. In The Last Command, the third book in Timothy Zahn's beloved Thrawn trilogy, aka the good Star Wars books, that's exactly what happens. A crazed Jedi named Joruus C'baoth, Star Wars names, Joruus C'baoth, who was also a clone, unleashed a bad Luke on the galaxy. His name? Luke. With two U's. Brilliant. To at least differentiate him a little bit, I would have named him like Duke. George Lucas probably would have named him Puke, and he would have tried to sell you death sticks.
You wanna buy some death sticks?
Either way, it's pretty bad, right? Or is it? Young clone meets the old guy worked for Logan. So, you hated Luke being alone and sad. Any chance you hated that Dreadnought ship too? Well, you could have hated it a whole lot more. In the book Children of the Jedi, a much shittier Dreadnought makes its debut. Described as the biggest, most dangerous, most secret vessel of them all, a super ship, a Dreadnought, one the enemy wouldn't see coming until it was too late. Now why wouldn't they see it coming? Because it was disguised as a meteor. Which, one, that's a shitty Lego set, and two, I feel like I'd still notice a ginormous rock just cruising my way, what's that casual meteor doing over there being all casual? What's that Dreadnought have to do with Luke? Well, long story short, a Jedi Knight named Calista sacrifices herself by binding her soul to the ship's computer to stop it. Sure. Then years and books later, some new bad guys try to fire it back up. Luke intervenes and falls in love with Calista. I mean, there's a little more to it than that, but Luke falls in love with a spaceship. So sure, Luke in The Last Jedi might not be your cup of blue milk, but chances are neither is Luke fighting his badly named clone on a giant spaceship disguised as a big space potato that he mouth kisses. Or maybe that is your cup. Different strokes. I'm not here to kink shame. Hey, let me ask you something. Did you hate the way Luke died? Not me. I cry every time I see it. Maybe you're incapable of emotion. Twin sons, tears, a sigh of acceptance of his place at the Force. Like my grandma always says, at least a moon didn't fall on him. In the novel Vector Prime, a moon falls on Chewbacca. What a great third act for The Last Jedi. That's no moon. Oh, it is. Smash. Dead. So yeah, you could have gotten Kylo Ren facing off with Luke Skywalker, lines of AT-ATs on one side, the last of the rebellion on the other, and then a moon falls on Luke. How did he not see it coming? Wait, if people don't notice moons, I have a great idea for a Dreadnought design. Look, I'm not hating on these books. I love these books. They're why I was a virgin into my 20s. That and because I'm me. They're also all pretty bad. It's okay to admit that. Sometimes the things we like are terrible. That's why I like NFL Pro Stars, the greatest cartoon of the early 90s. Pro Stars was dope, right? Pro Stars. And Bo Jackson did everything? Yeah. My producer hates this video. That all stays in. Let's get back to ships in The Last Jedi. And I'm not talking about the Poe Finn ship, which Johnson ignoring is the one unforgivable sin of that movie. Kiss his beautiful face, you boys are in love with each other, just let them be in love and kiss each other's face. Hashtag kiss his face. Nope, I'm talking capital ships. I'm talking ships ramming into other ships. At light speed. No, I'm talking about ships ramming into other ships. At light speed. There's a good chance you hated the Holdo maneuver. I know one group that did. Star Wars RPG Game Masters. What kind of dice would you even roll for death by lightspeed? Is there a saving throw? What about the schematics I drew for every ship in this fleet when I was supposed to be working at my day job? Why does my gaming group hate me? Folks, rest assured, as far as overpowered ships are concerned, there's always a bigger boat. Or a much smaller, much stronger boat. I'm talking about the Sun Crusher. God, these names, they're so bad. It debuted in a novel called Jedi Search, but was so powerful it was talked about in at least like 20 other books. No bigger than a fighter, the Sun Crusher could destroy whole solar systems, and it was indestructible. It survived getting shot at by a prototype Death Star laser. Oh God. It sounds like it was made up by a third grader throwing a tantrum because his friends keep ganging up on him when they're playing Star Wars. Yeah, sorry my only Star Wars toy is this G.I. Joe Crocmaster action figure because my parents can't afford all this stuff, Jesse and Steve. Someday I'll come over with the Sun Crusher and you'll be sorry. I'm gonna breathe for a second because my knees are locked and I'm gonna pass out. Of course, Luke and Holdo aren't the only complaints fans have about The Last Jedi. I still see plenty of people hating Kylo Ren, which is weird because to me he's one of the most compelling characters the films have ever had, but whatever. You hate Kylo now? Well, remember the title of this video you're watching because Rian Johnson could have drawn some inspiration from my favorite Star Wars book, which is in my hand. There it is. My favorite Star Wars book, The Glove of Darth Vader. Or as my copy is called due to price tag location, The Love of Darth Vader. It's a book about Darth Vader's glove being the source of his power. Or in my copy, his love, which is, I don't know, technically true? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Darth Vader's love, it causes him to get strong in the Force, and then that causes his fall, and wow. Well played, price tag. Anyway, Johnson could have doubled down on Ren being a Vader fanboy and sent him on a quest to smell the glove. Heck, if he had found Darth Vader's sweet motorcycle, he could really go to town. When I see Darth Vader, I think sweet hog. And while we're at it, if you're not a Snoke fan, Palpatine has a son in this book that they could have brought in as the new Supreme Leader. He's a Triclops. His name is... I can do it. I can say it. I know I can say it. And while we're at it, if you're not a Snoke fan, Palpatine has a son in this book that they could have brought in as the new Supreme Leader instead. He's a Triclops. His name is Trioculus. Why? Because he has 3 Oculuses. Duh. And sure, I can already see the comments. Joe, the glove of Darth Vader is for young readers. Yeah, to which I say, so is Star Wars.
I wish we had furry creatures like you where I came from.
Don't miss the Ewok Adventure.
So take heart, Internet. No matter how much you hate movies, they could always be worse. Now, what movies do you want me to show you the silver linings in next? And would you watch a whole series of me just reading The Glove of Darth Vader? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye.